y'all. I am back again for another video. And this video is to be about systematic poverty and narcissism. So, I always use examples on this channel. So, I feel like this video will be very helpful as far as giving you, myself, and others a better outlook on money. So, in one of my lives, I had mentioned that years ago I had worked with a coworker, and he was kind of like an adopted nephew to me. Okay. And within the last couple of years, he out of the blue started asking me for money, started calling me saying that he had extreme emergencies to the point where I told him, sounds like you need 911. This is how extreme these emergencies are. I offered some support and advice over the phone, but I did not give him any money or go to these extreme emergencies. It's not safe for me to do so. Okay. So, with that being said, I also found out through interacting with him that he was borrowing money from some of our coworkers we used to work with. And keep in mind, we had been gone from that job for some years. So imagine working with someone and we ain't even been at that job 5 years or more, and you're still loaning them money. So what happened in that situation is my ex coworkers or ensnared, as HD Tutor would say, or they're caught up with this narcissist. So the thing with these type of situations, a narcissist is not going to stop asking you for money. The amounts will get bigger, and you begin to become kind of like a bank or remember back in the day when people used to get those payday loans from those check cashing places. And I got them back in the day. I'm not going to lie. I used to do the same thing, but you'll learn not to do that because of the fees and stuff like that and the cost. And then what if you lose your job or get laid off and you can't pay the payday loan? I mean, it's just a big nightmare. So I'm using the example of my adopted nephew. And he was from the South, y'all. He was real young enough to be my nephew. Okay. He was real cool to work with. Very cool coworker. But, he ended up having some narcissistic traits and he's looking for supply. So this is the thing. People, they think you need to be beneficial to them. And the way a narcissistic person thinks you need to be beneficial is different than maybe an empathic person that thinks you need to be beneficial, because a narcissistic person thinks they're entitled and they think everybody got more money than them, right? So, and I've said this on this channel before. My rent's over $2,000. Literally, just my rent's over $2,000. And I don't flash that around to brag, but there will be certain situations where I may share it, not often, but close friend or family. It may just come up when we're talking about the high rents. We might be doing rent comparisons. How much is the rent in your state? I mean, rents are getting pretty high. And where I'm at, that's considered cheap, to be honest, for a place that's big enough to be a home. If you go into the major city, getting this same place, and this ain't no real fancy place, it's just on the West Coast, stuff is going up. I mean, I could go to somewhere like New York and California and make it even worse, or Los Angeles or whatever. I mean, So I don't know. It's just a challenging process, but with systematic poverty, it's very challenging because, and I'm going to do this other video separate because I was going to do a video about small money is big money, but that needs to be its own video. But I'll include some of that right here. Small money is big money. That's inclusive in systematic poverty because that's the key to becoming rich. See, I used to look at it all backwards. I never understood the real importance of $10. And the reason I didn't understand the real importance of it, I saw my grandmother count money, and my grandmother had a cash register because she had a restaurant. And then in turn, when I became an adult, even as a teenager, I became a cashier at a restaurant outside of my grandmother's. And I continued to do customer service work throughout the years where I had access to safes, cash registers, counting tills down, and all of that for the night. And so, um, when I was a property manager for 5 years, I collected a lot of rents, cash, checks, money orders. You'll be surprised how many people back in the day paid their rent in cash. So I became immune to just seeing money. And I don't have like when I'm handling somebody else's money, I don't have a urge to steal it or take it. There's not a great urge, which is good because if I had a high urge for money or I had like a real greediness, it would be hard to have so much money going through my hands because I would have ended up, taking it. And it's just best if you're handling money not to be addicted to it. So, but at the same time, when you see so much money, you're working in customer service, you grow up in your grandmother's restaurant and you just see a lot of money, you become immune to it. Okay. So when you become immune to it, it doesn't have the same effect that it would. And it kind of can, if you're not taught about it, if nobody's like sitting down really talking to you about it and getting you to understand money. So you're seeing money, but there's no teaching along with it. There's a confusion there, and you will have a lack of knowledge for money, even though you're around it a lot. So that's what happened with me. I wasn't taught much about it. I'm just seeing it. And so, like I said, when you see so much of it, you just you don't understand really what these amounts truly are and what they truly mean. However, I think someone that's raised in a more balanced environment, and this is why you may find a lot of people that were raised to see more money, when they grow up, they may have less of it. So, say someone that didn't see as much money and maybe had a harder life coming on money or coming up with money, they may actually value it a little more and have more appreciation for it, so to speak. I think that's what it boils down to, too. Thank you so much, y'all, for coming into the live. Can you please click a like? So this video is about systematic poverty and how to handle things when people are asking you for money and just about money in general. So with that adopted nephew, going back to that, that I had, I used to work with this young man and he was like an adopted nephew. He was from the South. So years after we left that job, he's still borrowing money from someone else. Riley, let me see. Let me check the messages. Hold on. So Riley McHugh, nobody's here. What does STHU mean? There is someone here. From my end, I see 8 people. Hello, Jessica Wilson. Thank you so much for tuning in. So to Riley McHugh. So, okay, let me explain something about lives. When you're on a live, it doesn't matter if anybody's here because people watch it later, right? But there are people here. But even if there are not people here, they watch it later. So YouTubers do lives because it's just another one of their videos. Okay, so it's another video that's going to get views. So people don't necessarily have to be here, and everybody can't be here because some people are at work and so they'll watch it later. So I hope that makes sense, Riley McHugh. But Jessica Wilson, thank you so much for being so positive. And Riley McHugh, thank you so much for the comment. What does STHU mean, Riley McHugh? Is that some cussing me out stuff? STHU, let me look that up. Oh, it's a bad word. Thank you so much, Jessica. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I'm getting ready to find out, Miss Jessica Wilson. I'm gonna find out right now. It won't surprise me. My intuition tells me it's a bad word. I could feel it in my bones. Let me look it up. Oh, it sure is bad. Wow. Shut the hell up is what it means. STHU means shut the hell up. Yep, Jessica Wilson, your intuition was right, and mine was too. But this is what happens with these kind of people. I just started the live. So just think about the narcissism there. You come in somebody's live and tell them to shut the hell up. And that's why they don't know much, right? That person does not have a channel. And I'm going to be doing a video about why you should start your own YouTube channel. So Jessica Wilson, you would be a great candidate even if you are not already uploading. Some of y'all are already uploading videos. But yeah, shut the hell up. That's just come right in the live. Because he says nobody's watching, or she says, I don't know if it's a let me look at the name again for that part. Riley, that sounds like a man, but Riley is like unisex, right? Because Riley can be a female too, but most likely it's a guy. Nobody here, but they'll watch it later. So anyway, let me get back to the subject matter so we can learn something. So systematic poverty and money and narcissism. So getting to understand the value of small money and why it's big money. Okay, so I'll use an example. I'll go back let's go back like we way back in like the 1950s or 60s, right? So say a young person, say it's a lady. They're staying at home, young child. They get a government check for $200. Say this person is actually on welfare at that moment, and they're getting a check for $200. Oh, 1920, Jessica Wilson? Yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll go back to 1920. Okay, so $200. And you think, well, it's crazy because think about it this way. People that sometimes make smaller amounts of money, they seem to accomplish more. Have you ever been around people where you know they make less money than someone else, but they seem to have more material things, maybe more saved. And you're like trying to figure out, like, what are they doing, right? They understand small money. So if you go back to 1920, 1950, or whatever, $200. So they say, okay, to get out of this hectic neighborhood, so say they're bringing in $200 a month, but they don't really have a bunch of other bills because the location they're staying at, there's help there, but they want to get out on their own. So it's in 1920 or 1950, like Jessica said. And so they say, I'm going to save $10 a month. They save $10 a month. Do that for 12 months. That's $120. Okay. Now this is 1920. So to move into a better neighborhood with someone that owns a little small, little bitty little house or whatever, very, very tiny place, the deposit's only $75. Okay. So this person that was bringing in $200 a month has saved $120 total. So they take $75 of that and pay towards moving into this new place, which is actually in a better neighborhood. So just through saving small money, they're free of the hectic neighborhood they were in. Yeah, they were getting help in that other neighborhood where they were getting the $200 a month, but it's a hectic kind of neighborhood with a lot of unsavory people, a lot of robberies, some drug dealers, stuff like that. So just saving $10 a month made them have $120 later, and $75 got them out of that unsafe situation. So once this person gets out of that unsafe situation, they're now paying $150 a month, which is their rent. So, but look at how this small money got them out of that crisis just by saving $10 a month. Now, the person that would have been getting $200 a month would have been somebody like me, and they don't save anything. Because this is the person I used to be. So me, I wouldn't have saved nothing because I didn't see the value in the $10, if that makes sense. So this other person that I'm talking about, the first example, they end up in this better neighborhood. The rent, utilities, and all of that. Thanks for coming back, Jessica Wilson. The rent, utilities, and all of that is $150 a month because now they're in a better neighborhood. So look at how this small money got this individual out of the bad neighborhood. So now they're in the new neighborhood. It's back in 1920, like you said, Jessica. And so now they're paying $150, and this includes water, the lights, gas, and rent. Because this is 1920, right? So this person is still bringing in the $200 a month because they're on government assistance, okay? So $150 a month, but they still continue to save this $10 a month, right? So this is just what they save a month no matter what. And that $75 that they put towards this place, they ended up with $45 left. So they take that $45 and they carry it over. So they actually kept some of that $120 savings, if that makes sense. Because remember, originally, when they were in the bad neighborhood, living with someone, they saved $10 a month no matter what. So then they ended up with $120 originally, $120. $75 of that got them out of that bad neighborhood in their own place. because it's 1920, so that's all that was required. Okay, so they go over into the better neighborhood in their own place now. They're on a lease and everything. Okay, so it's $150 a month. So they came into it with $45 saved. So this person is consistent. They say, I'm still going to save my $10 a month. So they continue to save $10 a month for 6 more months. Okay. So that means they have $45 from the last savings plus another $60. So there's this situation that arises where for them to get this really good job, to get them off of this government assistance, they need $80 to get clothes and for transportation cost. Back then they had streetcars. So they need to pay the streetcar. That's like the cab or Uber back in the day. 1920, they had streetcars. So they need $80 to get this really good job. So they came in with $45, 6 months in, this lady saves another $60. So now she has the $80, okay, because she came in with 45. So she has, let me see how much she has left. 60, 70, 80. So there's about $25 left. So 45 and 60 is what? That's 105. Let me see, 5, 10, that's $105. So they need 80. Yep, so there's $25 left. So notice that this lady, no matter what, always has some savings left. So she takes this $80 and she gets this really good job that pays $1,000 a month. And it just goes on from there. Do you see how this works? So now she's making $1,000 a month. And because she's at this job, she meets a husband. And this marriage actually lasts. She meets a husband. And in 1920, he's like this really big boss man. And he makes $2,000 a month. So imagine 1920 in the United States, this family is bringing in $3,000 a month. And she comes in the relationship with one child. Okay, so now I hope this is making sense, seeing the value of small money. And this is the way I'm looking at things so I can finally learn the importance of what money really is. I never understood or was taught or knew anything about saving $10 a month. I probably would have been laughed at in a way. Because maybe people would have thought, well, your grandmother owns a restaurant. Shouldn't you be doing better than that? I think understanding the value of small money, what happens is it also becomes a driver and motivator for you to save more. So systematic poverty involves not understanding about small money. Okay, so I gave you the first example of the adopted nephew coworker, and we don't talk right now, y'all. We don't talk. People, you know, a lot of people after they ask you for money a few times, ask for your help, they're just gonna go away, which I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I mean, I cannot help everybody, and I began to understand subconsciously the value of small money and not taking on other people's responsibility. Now, I also want to point this out. That adopted nephew, his mother is alive. And oftentimes that's who he's living with. So systematic poverty also involves kind of like a attack or a lack of empathy for people that have deceased parents. And I'm just going to give y'all a piece of advice because I don't have a normal personality. I'm not what you call a normal. So if you ask me for some money, I'm going to judge it. Okay. I just am. I'm going to judge it, especially if you already know my rent is over $2,000. I have no husband or boyfriend living in my home. So I'm going to judge it. And I'm also going to judge it if I'm not asking you for money. It's like a form of passive aggressive communication. Okay. And I did a live about that too. So a lot of people, they don't really understand passive aggressive communication, especially from empathic people, because we are nice and we want to try to be supportive. But this is what this means from my perspective with understanding passive aggressive communication. If you have a man in the home, okay, and a child, and I do not have a man in the home, and you have your mother or your father alive, and I do not have my parents, and I already told you that my rent is $2,000, and I'm not asking you for money. The thing with empaths, we're not a normal personality, but we do want you to mirror us. Okay. And that's something that will oftentimes be misconstrued because people that have some level of empathy are helpful. Okay. So for me, it's kind of like this: treat me like I treat you. I don't ask you for no money. Ever. If I don't ask you for money, don't ask me for any. You got a man in the home? I don't have a man in the home. And that's one of the things I would live by, y'all. You know, I'm just going to be honest. When I had a man in the home, during those times, I wasn't asking people for money. If I was borrowing any money, it was through the bank, through bank loans. But people will observe and judge what you're asking them, and they will try to discern where it's coming from. So, like I gave y'all an example, my adopted nephew at that job we worked at, come to find out our other co-workers were still loaning him money years on end. We had been gone away from that job over 5 years. So what you want to do is, for one, you want to stop systematic poverty. Okay. Systematic poverty. One of the reasons that is happening is you don't understand small money, and you don't understand how much you're giving away. I've given money away because I didn't understand truly how much I was giving away. I never looked at, oh, that ain't nothing, it's just $20. Well, add up 200 of those and see how much that is. So you got to start looking at money like, how much is it in the long run? So systematic poverty, I gave you a couple of examples so far, but I'm always at awe when people ask for money and they have living parents. So they're not showing emotional empathy. Asking somebody for money that does not have a man in the home, and I mean a man that I'm dating or I'm with a marriage, a significant other, or a husband. Me having sons, those are not my men. Those are actually people that I'm still responsible for. I don't care if my son is 30 years old. If he's still living in the home, it's certain things I'm going to be responsible for just because he lives here. There's certain things I'm going to be helping the family with just because they still live here. And that may be why somebody might feel comfortable asking too. Well, she has sons there, but those aren't my men. One of my sons is still a teenager and does not have a paid job right now. He just came out of a situation. Okay. So, and both my sons, they're doing well here. I mean, I'm proud of them and they're doing the best they could do. However, this is what is definitely going to happen. When someone starts asking you for money, they're coming into your situation and now they're putting themselves in your budget. So say you give them $25. That's $25 that should be staying in your household. I never looked at money in the way I look at it now, but I look at it more stricter. So $25 to me can go to my baby boy that does not have a job right now. That $25 can be used to help pay someone to do a resume for him. I still have not prepared his resume as of yet. We've been so busy with other things. Okay. So this might help y'all, and this will help me as well. View it kind of like you did when your children were smaller. And a lot of people don't understand this. The older people get, the more expensive it can become too. Because now they're trying to buy a vehicle. Now they're trying to go to driving school. They may want to go to acting lessons. They may want to take a couple of $100s and start a small business. You just never know, what someone may plan to do. So it doesn't necessarily get cheaper when people get older in the household. It's just that their needs change. When they're little, they need a bottle and some diapers and a playpen and a crib and stuff like that. But when they get older, they need certain books for their educational activities that you have to pay for out of pocket, transportation costs. They need a laptop. They need a phone so they can do their homework and stuff like that. There's just all kind of needs, right? It's just that the expenses become something else. So with systematic poverty, the way to stop this cycle is understand small money and stop allowing your money to be out of your household in somebody else's hands. That has to stop. So you have to ask yourself, why is this person not listening? So passive aggressively, and this happened to me a couple of times, once this year and once last year, at least once last year, where I told a couple of people how much my rent was. Both of them still asked me for something. My grandmother's restaurant is closed. It's closed. And I know it's closed. And I'm not making fun of it, but that affects my life. Where am I going to give you $25 from? Where's the cash register? right? So the cash register is gone. Okay. So I've always understood systematic poverty, and I was able to kind of survive that and at least be what I would consider stable. I am in a stable condition and I am in a consistent condition. If I didn't kind of understand systematic poverty, I would have had to leave where I'm at long, long ago. Like literally, I would never have survived on the West Coast. So, one of the ways that I survive systematic poverty is one of the things I've always done for many, many years. Oh my goodness, this helped me a lot. Understanding this part of systematic poverty is how I was able to not get evicted much. I remained as stable as I could. One location, I lived in a penthouse, an older vintage style penthouse. I stayed there for 10 years. Okay. And one of the things I always understood is the cost of food. And when I was in that penthouse, I was not on food stamps. People always think that you on food stamps. On food stamps or off food stamps, there's budgeting that's required. They only giving you enough food stamps with this new system to actually buy the amount of food that you need to buy for each person. Okay, so things ain't like they were way back in the day where people was getting a overzealous amount of food stamps. I mean, this stuff has kind of like really shut down a lot from what I hear. So one of the things I always understood is moving people in and the cost of that. And usually when you're looking at systematic poverty and how it goes on and on, usually you're moving people in that do not have an income, or they have an income and are not willing to share it. Because a lot of times they are not your biological children. Sometimes they're blood related to you, sometimes they're not. So hopefully this video will kind of help encourage you to say no and give you a better perspective of maybe how you should view yourself. Okay, so it maybe help people understand what people are saying to you. So when somebody ain't got a man, they ain't married, whether they got their children living with them or not, if their children 80 years old and living with them, view those children just like they 5, because they're still their children. And with me, as long as my children are in the home, I'm always teaching them things about life. My children watch my videos. They do. They actually watch my videos. So I view people, I do, I'm going to judge it. I'm going to judge someone, another woman, I don't care who they are, if they're calling me, asking me for something, and they have a man in the home, a Black man, okay, and children, and I know that man is in the home, okay, he's not disabled, I know he's there, and I don't have a man. So the boundary should be, don't ask me for money because I'm not asking you for any. And this is not something you want to fall out with people about. So, okay, if you ask me, how do I handle situations like this? For one, I don't want to lose the relationship with the person. So I already know if I start giving them money, when I don't continue to do it, they're going to usually stop talking to me. Once you become a supply source, a financial supply source, even to an empath, once you stop giving them money or loaning them money sometimes, you're going to lose the relationship. So if it's a relationship you want to maintain, you don't want your relationship to be about money. You want to create a boundary where, and this is a boundary that I create. I'm not asking you for money. Don't ask me for any. Now, that doesn't mean I can't gift you, but you're just going to run into a very toxic situation. So how do I deal with these situations? Okay. I remind them once again of how much my rent is. And see, people, they kind of get confused. So what I found, this was actually what happened. The couple of people that asked me to borrow a little money, they said they would pay it back. Usually they won't. Sometimes they will. But even if they do pay it back, this is going to be going on every 2 months, every 3 months. There's going to be a certain amount of money, because small money is big money. There's going to be a certain amount of money that's always missing from your household. Because 1 to 6 people is always going to be $25 in you, $25 in you, $30 in you, $10 in you. Before you know it, there's $200 missing out of your monthly income, and you don't even realize it's happening because it's happening so subtle, and you're just looking at it like it's small money. So I'm a person, I try to teach lessons, right? And I'm gonna judge it, and sometimes things can become a little offensive. I'm not a so you can ask me nicely. You know, the sister, she said, well, she said to me, I got the call, and she said, well, she needs help, but if I can't help her, that's fine. Hands. I made the call back. I said, what is your man doing? What is he doing? See, throughout my parenting without the man in the house, a lot of people, or a couple of people, not a lot, because there's not a lot of people that will loan me or give me anything. Most people, and they knew that no male was in the home, no father. So when they loaned me money or donated or gave me anything, the situation was appropriate, because when I borrow money from someone, there's no man in the home when I'm doing it, and they actually got some money. So I'm borrowing money from somebody that got 50,000 set up in an account. And I'm going to give them their money back so they can put that money right back into their savings. See, the thing is with systematic poverty, the reason there's so much systematic poverty, and it just goes on from neighborhood to neighborhood, generation to generation, is you got one poor person mooching off another poor person. So when another poor person that's in poverty or poor under United States standards, why would myself as a financially poor person try to get a come up off another poor person? That's not empathy. Why me? Why ask me for the money? Because I said my rent is over 2,000? That's telling you I ain't got no money. There's no man in the home. There's an unemployed teenager here. The rent's over 2,000. That means don't ask me for no money. I'm very open. I'm unmarried. I ain't got a boyfriend or a man here. What, am I supposed to have it because I live out of town? People do that, y'all. They think you really got some money just because you're out of town. It's just going to continue. Every month, this money is going to be coming out of your household. The sister explained to me, she said her man will be going to work in 2 weeks. Another thing too, Black women, we got to get ourselves up to date. We got to get ourselves up to date. They have so many different options. You can put kids up for adoption now, and they let them still see their biological parents. We got to really, really look at more of our options. And the thing is with systematic poverty, as an empathic person, I expect you to mirror me. Mirror me. I ain't got no man in the home, so there's no man taken out of the mouth of my family. So if another woman chooses to have a Black man in the house that's not supporting her, she's not mirroring me. The average Black man that comes into a lady in a poverty situation, living in any kind of low-income housing, low income herself, however it's going to work, all they're going to be doing is threatening the woman, causing domestic violence usually, and having their hand out for cigarettes and beer, taking from the babies in the house. Now, if another lady chooses to be in those type of situations, she's not mirroring me. That's why I don't have the man here, because it's part of systematic poverty. I would actually be in a worse condition. If I had that type of Black man here, I wouldn't even be able to pay the 2,000 in rent, because he's going to want the money. He's going to eat that money up. He's going to steadily be asking for my money. See, I'm hip to the game. So when I'm interacting with another Black lady, you can clearly see that I'm consistently without a man. And that's because I don't want to pay a man. That is my motive. The average man is going to want our money. I don't care who he is. I talked about in my narcissism text messaging videos, I talked about an unaware narcissist that I turned down for 5 years that owned like 3 properties. He's in a bunch of debt, over $1 million in debt. He wanted to date me, and he wanted to move myself and my children in. But that was basically so we could pay his bills, y'all. He want our money. That's the bottom line. And so it's a very unhealthy situation to be getting in. And so my suggestion is this, everybody doesn't necessarily think about it. Money and empathy don't mix. They're like oil and water. So as soon as somebody asks you for money, they're not using empathy, not for you. So view it this way. Just the act of them asking you for some money, they're not utilizing empathy. Most empathy is the ability to feel for someone else. So they're not feeling for you because they're not feeling for the fact or caring about the fact that whatever amount of money they're asking you for is coming out of your household and out of your pocket and out of your bank account. So view it that way. So view it as soon as somebody asks you for some money, say this in your mind, even if you don't say it to them. They're not having empathy for me. They're not caring about my situation. They're not caring about my retirement. They're not caring about my family in this house. They're not caring about my transportation needs. They're not caring if I eat today. Look at small money totally different. That way you can avoid being a supply to people. So I judged both situations. One was a male asking me for money. That's a major red flag. I do not like men asking me for money. And you got a whole living mother, and I have a deceased mother. Right there, the man doesn't have empathy for me. His mother's alive. My mother is deceased. My grandmother's deceased. Most of my relatives that would have helped me, aunties, parents, grandparents, they're all deceased. And I'm not on my YouTube channel asking for cash apps. I don't do that here. So it's not like I'm expecting my YouTubers or the viewers to pay my pockets. I'm not doing that. I'm not utilizing my channel to abuse people. Okay. And even if I did start asking for cash apps, I just wouldn't be on every video. I mean, people attach it to their videos some kind of way. I'm not sure how to do all of that. I'm gonna get someone to kind of help me with some of my YouTube ideas and how to do that stuff, because other people do it and it works out. So I'm not saying I never will do it, but at this point, that's not how I'm building my channel, is begging y'all for money. I truly want you to focus on the lesson for right now. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm teaching about systematic poverty. And if you ain't saving nothing, start with $10 a month. I'm going to give you an example of how strong this is. Say from the time your child is born, you save $10 a month. And they're 15 years old. So that's $120 a year. $10 a month, and they're 15 years old. Okay? We're going to add this up right now. $10 a month. Well, $120, because that's how much $10 a month is per year, times 15 years. So that's $1,800 that your 15-year-old would have. Now, say you had an 11-year-old. So that's 120 a year times 11 years. So that 11-year-old would have $1,320. And say you're 40 years old, and there's $10 saved a month for you your entire life. So that's 120 times 40 years. That's $4,800. Okay, so you got a 40-year-old, a 15-year-old, and an 11-year-old. Okay, say there's a 9-year-old. Okay, this is $10 a month for 9 years. That's 120 a year times 9 years. So that's $1,080 for the 9-year-old. And you thinking $10 a month ain't nothing, huh? The parent's 40 years old. One child is 15 years old. One child is 11 years old. One child is 9 years old. $10 a month for the whole family per person. So, okay, the 40-year-old, just from saving $10 a month her entire life, that's $4,800. Okay. And then for the 15-year-old, $10 a month for 15 years, that's $1,800. For the 11-year-old, $10 a month for 11 years, that's $1,320. And then for the 9-year-old, $10 a month for 9 years is $1,080. This family has $9,000 exactly. Now, how many families have this family size? A 40-year-old, 15, 11-year-old, and a 9-year-old. And they have $20 in the bank. There's a lot of families like that, y'all, that literally will have just $20 in the bank in their clothes and furniture, if they got furniture. Some families will barely have furniture. Their income might not be high enough to really afford furniture or beds. You just never know what people can afford. So this is a family of 4, just $10 a month per person. From birth, though. From birth, $9,000. That's better than having $20. See the value of small money? And through this, you can break systematic poverty. Oh, I got another example. I'll use another lady. She's in a, we'll put her in the 1960s. She's in a affordable apartment. And say it's like a housing project. And her expenses there are about $300 a month. We'll say $300 a month. And there's 2 other families there. So say this $300 a month, she has 2 kids. But there's a lady across the hall, okay, that every week needs baby milk, okay? And this baby milk is $5, $10, okay? So, and there's a couple of these, okay? So this lady that's making $300 a month, she has she has $300 a month worth of expenses. Okay. So this is her expenses. But there's a lady across the hall. And a couple of them, they always need baby milk for their kids. So this lady decides to buy it. And she does this for a year. So she never is in the other lady's position that I used as an example in the beginning, that can put aside the $10 a month, that actually got out of the toxic neighborhood. So because this lady that has $300 worth of expenses, not making $300 a month, but this new example here, she has $300 worth of expenses. She can't save the $10 a month because these people across the hall, let's say it's 2 families. She just They begging her every month for baby milk and baby needs, and the father left the home, and they're using all these excuses. This is systematic poverty. So because this lady keeps buying this other family baby milk, she won't be able to experience the first example, or the earlier example that I gave you, of the situation with the lady that had the $200 a month income, that got out the toxic neighborhood based on saving $10 a month. Now, just $10 a month freed her from a toxic neighborhood, got her to a new neighborhood, got her to a new job, and she met a whole husband, and ended up ultimately making $3,000 a month. And that example was the example I used like there in 1920. And you know, those people back then, they actually were able to really become rich because, or to be what you call true middle class, because they didn't get themselves in all that debt. They were inheriting stuff, homes and cars and stuff. That same nice furniture stayed in the house. They kept it clean, and they really were able to be successful in that way. So systematic poverty, it's mainly happening because people that ask for other people's money, they don't have empathy for those people. And they don't care. And I know that when somebody asking me for money, they ain't thinking about the fact my mama dead. Only I'm going to think like that because I have empathy for myself too. Nobody that asks me for money is going to think about my deceased mother and grandmother and other relatives, fathers, uncles, cousins, aunts. Nobody's going to think about that but me. Because the person asking me for money, they don't care. For one, they're not thinking about my parents being deceased and grandparents being deceased and other relatives, because my mindset is not as normal. Okay? So because I'm not a normal person, meaning personality-wise, because you got 4 personality types. H.G. Tudor talks about it. Narcissistic person, a normal, a narcissist, and an empath. The 4 main ones. And of course, you got the psychopaths and the narcissistic psychopaths. Those would be the other 2. But those are separate. A normal is low on empathy, low on narcissism. They're just normal. A narcissistic person is not a narcissist, but they do have some empathy. A narcissist has no emotional empathy, only cognitive empathy. A empath is a bundle of both narcissism and empathy, but their empathy will always override their narcissism. But an empath will have the most empathy. So empaths, narcissistic people, and narcissists are not normals. They're not a normal personality type. So they will view things in a very different way. Let me see. I got Mark Pajada here. Welcome back, Mark Pajada. Thank you so much for coming back. Yes, I remember you. How are you doing? I remember you. Thanks so much for coming back. Welcome back. I appreciate you being here. This video is about systematic poverty. And hold on, I'm checking these comments here. Jessica Wilson, thank you so much for your input here. Thanks, Mark Pajada, for coming back. Hello, Haley, 7083. Sorry, I missed you there, Haley. I'm just now seeing the comment. I'm just checking these comments. That's why you always kind of got to double check yourself, y'all. That way you don't leave somebody out and they get mad and think it's on purpose. So let me see. Jessica Wilson. I'm just checking the comments. And again, thank you, Jessica Wilson, for mentioning 1920. That was a really good thing to come up with that. And I think it made more sense to come up with that year. Do y'all have any questions about money in any kind of way? Yes, I miss you, Mark Pajada. Yes, I sure do. Who is Derek? Mark, who is Derek? I remember Mark Pajada, but I don't remember Derek. I don't remember calling you no Derek. Because I always use the names. I do remember Mark Pajada. I do remember that. I remember you, but I just don't link you to Derek. I remember you from being in another live, Mark. You were in another live. So I remember saying your name. I remember you. I wouldn't lie and say I remembered you if I didn't. If I didn't remember you, I would say, no, I don't. Remember, this is a smaller channel in comparison to a lot of YouTube channels. So I remember the names. I remember you. I mean, it's on one of the lives, Mark. I mean, come on now. I've done a lot of lives. I'm not going to be able to say it was the live on November 1st of 2025. I'm not going to remember it like that now. But I remember you. Why are you accusing me of lying? What's that about? What's the insecurity about that? If I called you Derek, I don't remember that part. I just remember Mark Pajada. And I'm glad you're back. Six or seven lives ago? Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I was going to say maybe like months ago, something like that. Yeah, that's about right. 6 or 7 lives ago. And that would make it right around November, December. It ain't like it's been a year. It ain't been a year. So it's not like you came back and said, hey, remember me, and it's been 2 years. We just communicated recently. And if I didn't remember you, I would say I didn't remember you. I don't say I remember people if I don't remember them. Oh, I wanted to block you, yeah. But we ended up being friends, remember? I didn't block you. Because we were cool. I haven't had to block anybody, you know. I've had to threaten it, but I haven't had to actually do it. Which I'm glad about that. You know what I mean? I think in general, most people actually want to come here genuinely and do the right thing. But people just be having a bad day. They really do. People be having a bad day. You never know what just happened to somebody when they come into a live. Mark Pajada. I'm an American Black person. Originally born and raised from St. Louis, Missouri, and I live on the West Coast now. I'm born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, but I no longer live in St. Louis, Missouri. I live on the West Coast now. So, yeah, talking about systematic poverty. Thank you for asking, Mark Pajada. I appreciate your question. American and what? What do you mean? I'm a Negro. I'm an American Negro. What else do you need to know? I'm not bro. Stop calling me bro, Mark. Come on now. You back with that again? Come on now. We into the new year now. You a Negro too? What you mean? Let me see what Mark's saying. That's like saying what? I'm born and raised in the United States. My relatives was, I come from slave ancestry. You live in England. Mark Pajada lives in England, but you're from Albania. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So you're living somewhere that you're not originally from. There's nothing wrong with that. England must be nice. You like it there, Mark Pajada? How is it in England right now? I love the English accent. It's so pretty to me. Oh, it's so depressing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you know what? This is the thing with that. Recognizing that you have to make that different, Mark. When something is depressing, you got to change your lifestyle. Because I know that everybody in England is not feeling like it's depressing. So you got to start creating more activities for yourself, right? Because what it sounds like is that you're bored. So you got to create the life you want. If I came to England right now, it wouldn't be depressing because I'm going to find some shit to do. And you're here. You know, the thing is, I watch people from all over the country. Now, I've never been to England, but I watch videos of people in England. So it's okay through the internet to travel outside of where you're at. I watch videos of all sorts of places, inclusive of England. And I do know this. Everybody there is not thinking it's depressing. The United States of America, people think it's depressing too. But you got to create the life you want, starting right in your home. You got to start exercising, Mark, too. That depressing feeling you have, and you got to start walking, cleaning, and exercising. You bored. Y'all got churches in England. Do you go to church? You should have a church family. Y'all got big, huge, beautiful churches too. I've seen them online. Yeah, I've seen the churches in England. Oh my God, they look like big castles. The churches in England look like castles. I've watched a lot of stuff over there, Mark. I've watched those old mental asylums. You know, some of the most dangerous mental institutions and asylums. They call them asylums, where people were brutally abused. Some of those were in. They've been shut down now and banned. But there was like some serious like mental institution asylums. They were like experimenting on people and all kind of stuff. I watched those videos about England. It was real scary. You ever watch those to know the history of England? It ain't all pretty. So I get you saying it's depressing, but the thing is you gotta create more to do. And hold on, let me try to find one of the names of these asylums. Give you one of the names of them. Yeah, inside the UK's most haunted asylum. 6,300 people died here. Let me play this. And I'm going to post this in the description box, Mark. See, you could be watching this, talking about depressing. You need to watch the history of England. This is inside the UK's most haunted asylum. 6,300 people died here.
Hidden among the rolling hills of North Wales, Denbigh Asylum stands as a crumbling monument to a dark past. Opening in 1848, it was meant to be a place of care, a sanctuary for the mentally ill.
You hear that? Open in 1848, meant to be a place of care for the mentally ill. The video is called this. It's England's in the UK. So when I pulled this up, that's in the United Kingdom. So inside the UK's most haunted asylum. Patients were crammed inside. There's all kind of videos here. Hold on. Let me see what the comments say. Oh, it said Wales. Okay, so how far is Wales from England? Because you know, Americans, we just look at it like it's all under the UK. So how far is Wales from England? Because I'll learn something here. Is it like a hour away, 2 hours away? Can you drive there? Like, can you drive from Wales to England? How long is the drive? Because I know nothing about being over in the United Kingdom. They got Britons abandoned asylums. It's a lot of them. I might create like a playlist about this. But anyway, going back to the center, systematic poverty, and I'm just gonna be honest, y'all. You know, on this channel, I'm just gonna be teaching y'all to say no to people, right? I mean, the answer is just no when it comes to money. You gotta guard yourself. Oh, 4 hours? Okay. So that would be like it kind of reminds me of like if you're leaving Seattle to go to Portland, Oregon, or Washington State to Portland, Oregon. That would be like a 3 hour drive. It kind of reminds you of that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's about, yeah, I see what you're saying. But for me, looking at it from being in the United States, y'all being 4 hours away, y'all are similar to me. You know, like Wales and England. Yeah, to you, it's a difference because you live over there and you've probably been to both places. But when I'm looking at a video from about a asylum, a mental health, a mental institution, asylum, when I'm looking at that from the United States perspective, you telling me that they're only 4 hours away from each other, it's kind of like that's still under the United Kingdom for me, from looking at it from another country's viewpoint, right? It's still, it's just like Portland, Oregon, and Washington State, they're all part of the United States, right? So that's just how I look at it, you know. So bye, Mark Pajada. Thanks for participating today. I appreciate you coming in. So systematic poverty, me being an empathic person, how I make my come up is not from other poor people, right? So part of my empathy, for one, the times I have borrowed money, and I'm talking about borrowed money, I go to people that have more stability because they have husbands, they're in marriages, they have a lot of adult children or adult relatives that are helping out. They have more of a family network. So they actually have the money because their situation is different. So a poor person should be going to a person that has more to offer, going to one of your big churches and stuff like that. But a lady that has a man in the house and children, it's not a good idea to ask me for money when I've already told you my rent is $2,000. It shows me that you weren't listening when I told you my rent is $2,000. It shows me that you don't care if my rent is $2,000. In both situations, the male and the lady that did ask me to help them out, neither one of these people have $2,000 in rent. One lady got a, nice, cute new home, and it's more affordable than what I'm paying. Okay. Much more affordable. And the gentleman that asked, he was actually living with someone at that time for free. So I'm going to notice that you live for free. And I'm talking about just the rent. A person that's living with someone for free still has other bills. They still have a vehicle payment. They still have gas money. They still have to purchase their food. They still may have a medical insurance bill that they have to pay to keep their insurance going. You know, I understand they still got a phone bill. I understand that someone that is living with someone for free, it's just that their rent is free. But if your rent's free, don't go ask somebody that got to pay over $2,000 in rent for any money. I'm not somebody to be asking for money. I ain't got no man. I'm not married. I'm not really working no super high paying job. I'm barely making it myself. These rents being so high make us poor. It creates systematic poverty. But the good thing is, with having a high rent, one thing you are is stable. Okay. So if you can create stability, you can do a lot with your situation. You can create a home business. You can turn one of your rooms into like a store, a bookstore. I could become an author. I can continue my YouTube channel, stuff like that. You know, you can steadily create different avenues of income if you're stable. I could be paying my $2,000. My rent's more than $2,000, but I could be paying my $2,000 in rent, but ultimately have a goal to make $10,000 a month one day through creating different avenues of income. So the good thing about renting or owning is the stability part. It's not a bad thing that you can pay your bill. Okay? It's not a bad thing at all. But this video will help you be more aware of who to ask for money. Just in general, you know, I ain't told nobody I got no money like that. Both people that asked, I told them my rent's over $2,000. Passive aggressively, that means don't ask me for nothing. Y'all got to train yourself on passive aggressive language too. You got to learn to mirror people more. If they ain't never asked you for no money, don't ask them for money. Make that just a rule in your life. Make that a new rule. So that somebody like me is not judging the fact that you asking me for money. At some point, you're just too old to be asking people for money. You just are. So, systematic poverty, y'all. Systematic poverty. Systematic poverty begins with having the wrong man. It's like this. The sister that asked me for the money, she's so sweet. I love her, right? But I was straight up. I said, what the man doing? What he doing? I'm straight up about it. We got to bring these issues up. And he was right there with her when I said it. Another thing, when you ask people for money, most likely it's already been discussed before you ask what kind of financial issues you could be suffering with. And people will be aware of it. I don't mind sending people gifts and stuff, but I don't want people in my budget. Small, large, medium, I don't want them in my budget. I just gave y'all the example. A 40-year-old, 15-year-old, 11 and 9-year-old just saving $10 a month from the time they was born. And of course, the parent would have been saving that, right? And then gave it to them or kept it in an account for them. They ended up with $9,000. Wouldn't you rather have $9,000 sitting in an account instead of having $20 there? Don't you want thousands in your account? Systematic poverty. So, one of the things I do now, and I've been doing this for many years, but I'm getting even tighter on it. One of the things I do is I realize what my responsibilities are. So what I do when I get in situations, I kind of get out of the situation sooner versus later. So, relatives moving out, they getting girlfriends, taking care of kids or whatever. I had invested about $400 in a situation. I pulled out of it. I got out that situation. If you have like a grandchild or a niece or nephew and you're giving them, say you want to donate $40 a month or more. Say you want to donate $40 a month or more. So just say $40. So $40 I'm adding this up, y'all, how much it would be. So $40 a month for 12 months. $40 times 12. That's $480. Okay. So check this out. You done wasted $400 on that situation. $480 is now out of your household because you were sending a niece or nephew or grandchild $40 a month. You kept letting people, consistently, that money is just always out of your household. When you're loaning money, $25, people going to be doing that every month, every 2 months. It's always coming out of your household. So next thing you know, $500 is missing. So this is $400 you done wasted, another $480. And to be honest with you, systematic poverty, another reason is systematic poverty is usually who you invest in will not invest in you later. I'll be doing a video about are they worth the Uber? When you get in an Uber and go to somebody's house, are they worth the Uber? And a lot of times they are, or not, are they worth it? Is the activity worth it? So, I'm getting to the point, I'm looking at these Uber costs, right? So you go into a 2-hour event, the Uber's $60 there, $60 back, that's $120. Event worth the Uber? And is it always appropriate often? You going to pay $120, 60 there, 60 back, and you ain't even going to a wedding. You got to start evaluating this stuff. Small money is big money. Systematic poverty. And then you spending this money going into people places, and you're really a poor person. You got to accept that you're poor to become richer, and you going into these environments where they got way more stuff and money than you do. Why wouldn't these people offer you a ride? Systematic poverty. So you got to understand this. Other people that you know, they want to keep you in that because everything's a competition. Everything's a competition. I take accountability for no one that's not in my residence. I don't want to send nothing because that keeps me in systematic poverty. The way to get out of systematic poverty is to not get involved with other people's situations. Because this is how it happens. Just like with the sister, I love her to death. I love her so, so much. And I'll send her gifts and stuff, but I'm not going to put her in my budget. Because systematic poverty is when she's buying her man and giving him money for beer and cigarettes or marijuana, when she's doing that type of stuff, because that's usually what's going on. It's really fortunate if these type of ladies are not in domestic violence situations, right? So when this type of stuff is going on, just from because that's why when somebody ain't got the rent that you got, they broke, because the small checks that they get or the one check a month or whatever they're getting, it's going to cigarette money, beer, because these black males that's in the home. And then what's so sad about it is when these black males move in with these single women, they're not married to them, and usually he's not actually homeless. He shouldn't even be at the lady's house. He should be at his mom's or dad's house. I have found that so many of these kind of girls, they actually have somewhere to be. They could be over at their auntie's, their mama house, but they will go into a woman's house that's low income so they can control the house, abuse, and get the things purchased for them that their mama or stepfather or father or stepmother will not buy them. Okay. So what it does, it eats up the income of that lady. So she has children or a child, and she has this man, and she's not strong enough to do what I'm doing and keep these type of men out of her home. So he's requiring way too much. You can't buy both. You can't buy baby milk and diapers and school supplies and potty chairs. You can't buy all of that stuff on a low income and buy his cigarettes and beer and marijuana. You only can do one. So what happens is systematic poverty, because she's in that situation, because of the cigarettes and beer and all the stuff she got to buy for him. Now she has no money. Now she's coming to me, another poor person. And I mean financially, right? But I may be more well off than that situation. But at the same time, under United States standard, we're not financially rich as well. Okay, so taking care of that black male in that situation, now she's coming here and putting me like I'm in that situation. Because of him, because he's the problem. Because without him in the home, she wouldn't need my money. There would be no need for a loan. These black women got to start eliminating that toxic man. He's a financial drain. He's depleting the money from the house and the kids. And this is why I don't have no man here, because most of them are going to do that. And that man is more expensive than those kids. If I bring a Negro in here and he say he want to be my man, he gonna cost more than my teenage son. Because he gonna want money. He might want my rent money. I'm not gonna give it to him. I don't give men my rent money. But that's what he gonna want. And because he wants that, now my whole family in an abusive situation. It's not my problem when another Black woman cannot mirror me and keep this situation out of their household. It's not my problem. On this channel, the good thing about coming here is it will protect you from financial abuse. You won't be financially abused. It ain't just a little money. If this person wants $25, $20, $50, it shouldn't be in their hands. It should be in this household. It's something else you can be doing with that money. So this is how systematic poverty works. And poor people shouldn't be exchanging money. Another poor person shouldn't be coming to me asking for money. It's inappropriate. Because I don't do it. I don't go asking poor people for money. If you tell me you got $1 rent and you ain't got no man or no lady, I know you poor. Because you got other bills outside of just your rent. So when I tell somebody how much my rent is, I got other bills that I have to pay as well. So it's just not a good situation. Your rent is whatever is on that lease. That is your rent amount, and it's going to be more. It's not going to have your water bill on your lease. It's going to say you're responsible for a water and light bill, but it's not going to be on your lease. It just won't be there. So systematic poverty, stay out of these situations. See, this is the thing. I say this too. I've said this before, but I'll try to word it to the best I can. I don't have a man. So I don't want to suffer the consequences of what somebody else man doing. So when another lady has a man and he's not doing right and he's draining her finances, taking her little check bit by bit all through the month. Can I get a pack of cigarettes? Can I get a beer? All the stuff that Black males will do. One sister, I did a video about this. One sister has a man that had a gambling addiction that was asking for her money right in front of me in the lobby of that business. I already did a live about that. A live video. So they want your money. Now, in that particular case, that man that was asking that woman or that lady for the gambling money right in front of me, that lady actually brings in a large amount of money per month. She has more money flow to give out than I do. She's a high income earner. And as of now, I'm not a high income earner. I'm an income earner, but not a high one. Okay. So high income earner, from my perspective, minimum 10,000 a month or more. That's a high income earner. Maybe 8,000. And you need to be not in a lot of debt, because if you're bringing in 8,000 to 10,000 a month and you $2 million in debt, now you more poor than I am. So all these situations I say no to. I keep people out of my monthly budget because ain't nobody gonna usually be thinking about me when I'm in the streets sleeping. I'm sleeping in a vehicle. I'm sleeping at my job. Stuff like that. I've been displaced before. So hopefully this video helped to show you the importance of $10 a month. I gave you several examples. That's one of the things about my channel, y'all. You know, I give examples. I'm good for examples. And my viewers like it because y'all keep coming back. Do y'all have any questions? Please click a like. No one clicked a like. I see a couple of people here. Just click a like. Just be nice. Come on, it's been almost 2 hours on this video. Click a like. I see you here. Click a like. It don't take nothing to click a like, y'all. Click a like. I still see 0. No like is there. Or subscribe. Like and subscribe. Share the video as well. That'll help as well. Thank you so much for the like. So I answer questions for free. Do y'all got any video ideas? I have plenty of video ideas. So I'm not asking you for the video ideas because I don't have any. I'm just trying to cater to my audience. So think of a video idea or a subject matter that you would like me to do a video about, and I'll do it for you. I'll do it today too. Come up with a video idea, and that'll be your treat for Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. I'll do the video just for you. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think of a video idea. Please click another like as well, because I see another person sitting there, so you can click another like as well. Why come to somebody's channel and they're asking for you to click a like and not do it? Why do that? I always click a like. When I go to somebody's live and they say click a like, I just click a like. It helps the channel grow and go in the algorithm more. Thank you to the person that did click a like. Sometimes the other person is in the kitchen, y'all. See, this channel is like a radio show, so it's not that they don't want to click a like. They're not by their device to click a like. They're doing something else. So, any video ideas? And you can always just put it in the description box. I think I'm going to create a playlist about those insane asylums. They're closed now, but those videos are really interesting to really see how cruel people can be treated, how they're experimented on, how they're abandoned by their families, how some of their families didn't even know they were in those places. And those videos are the ones that I watched in the United Kingdom. Mark Pajada that was here earlier, he lives in England, but he's from Albania. He's originally from Albania, but he lives in England. It's something when you can be on YouTube and somebody is really here from another country. Who would ever have thought that just a regular old person can be online doing videos and somebody can be doing videos and your reach go that far. Okay, so someone says accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. So user DP, you mean accept the Creator? What is your point? Is there anything I'm saying that would make you think that I don't know about Jesus Christ? So don't you see the name of this channel, Advanced Insight Channel? So what make you think I don't know about Jesus Christ? And what makes you think that I have not accepted Jesus? So what is your point here? I'm not trying to be rude, but what's the point? Have you watched my videos? Are you familiar with my lives? Go watch somebody's videos before you start typing accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. What makes you think that you're the only one that know about Jesus Christ? Do you know you typing that can be considered borderline disrespectful? You accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Start there. The first sign that you're not doing the right thing is coming on here just out of the blue. That's not even congruent with the subject matter. We're on here talking about systematic poverty and money and narcissism. Go make you some money today. Save some money because you're going to need the Creator, the Lord in heaven, and Jesus Christ. You know, President Trump is going to be making concentration camps to put the homeless people in. Do y'all know about that? This video is about systematic poverty. And one of the reasons that there's so much systematic poverty is because people spend all day talking about Jesus Christ and it ain't making them a bit of money. How much money is Jesus Christ going to give you today? How much money are you going to get from Jesus Christ today? And I'm not trying to be funny. The video is mainly about systematic poverty. I did a video about this book destroys lives and minds. That's another reason why there's so much poverty. The Bible and religions, especially if you ain't no Catholic. Now, if you're going to be a Catholic, you're not going to be poor. I'm talking about systematic poverty. Yes, prayer is important, but give some ideas on how people can get out of systematic poverty. Let's do the Lord's Prayer right now. Okay. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not, Lord, into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory today. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. One more time. I'm going to do it one more time. This is the Lord's Prayer, y'all. Pray it with me. Our Father God, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. I prayed this because of this. Just tell y'all the truth. The person out here saying, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, that person most likely ain't did the Lord's Prayer. It's called hypocritical behavior, right? Putting the slogan out there, but don't pray, ain't got a church to go to. Just came here telling me to choose the Lord, choose Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Like, I don't know how to do that. I mean, it's just disrespectful. This is not what the video is about. This video is about systematic poverty, narcissism, and money. This is a financial video. I'm covered with the Lord in heaven and Jesus. I'm good. Please don't come here with religious advertisements. Because what it shows me, whoever put that, it shows me that they have no true gift or intuition. That's one of the reasons why people come here, is because of how I love the Lord. So please respect my feelings. Respect me. Go watch my videos. Take the time to go watch one of my videos instead of coming here telling me I need to accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior. I've been did that. That's why I got this channel. This is one of the things that the Creator and Jesus Christ and the angels have blessed me with, is a channel. What makes you think you're the only one that done found Jesus Christ? I've prayed approximately 3 times already. How many times have you prayed today? I bet you didn't even do the Lord's Prayer. I did it 3 times. Right here on this video. Somebody that's telling you to accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior, they ain't even did the Lord's Prayer in 15 years. Some of them will ask you, what is the Lord's Prayer? Don't even know what that is. It's insane, man. You know, so I'm telling you what I know. I know that whoever just told me to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior ain't did a lick of prayer today. I'm here preaching, but don't pray. I'm so gifted, I know they ain't prayed, telling me to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I'm so prophetic, I know they ain't did their prayers today. Give me a break. Y'all, please like, share, and subscribe. And tune in for more right here. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for the comments and the participation in the chat. I'm very grateful for everyone that participated. I got a son here that's saved and baptized, that knows very much about Jesus. You think my son would have been saved and baptized if he wasn't taught about Jesus Christ? Is your child baptized while you on here telling me about Jesus Christ? Your prophetic gift sucks. You don't even have gifts of the Spirit just to come in here disrespecting me like that. I love the Lord. Been loving the Lord since I've been about 3 or 4 years old. How long you been loving the Lord? Just 5-10 minutes ago when you put that comment on here? Give me a freaking break. I'm so tired of hypocrites. I ain't did a prayer today. I'm so gifted that whoever left me that comment ain't prayed. Ain't did a prayer. I already prayed. I was on my Bible app. I prayed earlier last night. This prayer is about my 3rd prayer already. And then somebody on here talking about finding my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I ain't prayed. And I ain't got nothing to say. No, they ain't prayed. That's why they quiet. They're like, dang. How she know? It was not a good energy coming from that comment. And it wasn't a comment that was really meant to help me in the way that it looks like. Everybody that's bringing up Jesus Christ and the Lord ain't necessarily your friend. Like I'm just now gonna figure out about Jesus Christ because they left the comment. Do I sound like I'm 5 years old? This video is about systematic poverty. So y'all, please like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more right here. Please like, share, and subscribe, y'all. I love y'all. Please check the description box within the next hour. Please click a like. Systematic poverty, money, and narcissism. And hopefully the tips helped. Hopefully you learned. I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for the like. Please like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Bye.